Welcome back, trainers, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at Lugia in the Open Master League and as to why you should raid it as much as you can before they do nerf the remote raids, because this right here is definitely something you want in your arsenal because it is amazing regarding PvP. You could use it in raids, I suppose, as a flying type, but it is going to be operating in PvP a lot better, specifically Master League. Now, when it comes down to the Shadow Lugia, it is going to just about be just as good as the regular one here. And with the IVs that I do have and Best Buddy level 51, it's looking great. We're going to be pairing it up with Giratina as well as Groudon the entire time here, and it does amazing. So let's go ahead and see what we have going on here. If you haven't seen my last video going over the fact that Niantic is going to be nerfing the remote raids, you should probably check that out, and that's what I'm talking about as to why you should raid this. Now, I know people are saying they're going to boycott Niantic, and that's great. I'm not gonna, go against the grain against it this time because it's a little bit of a different situation. Okay, I know I've brought up the fact before that we didn't have remote raids before the whole thing happened several years ago, and we're gonna eventually come back to normalcy. But again, it's such a big part of the game. We've all become so accustomed to it, and it's crazy to think, take off your best-selling item from the menu and say goodbye. All right. A lot of times when that item menu is so popular, they just make it a permanent thing if it is that popular, right? So as far as them being greedy, and I'm not going to focus on this the entire time here, but as far as them being, oh, they're being greedy, we feel like that sometimes, but we can't say it for this. We really truly can't say that they're trying to be greedy because this is literally taking money out of their pocket. So we'll talk about it again in the future, but for now, let's go ahead and get into these battles here. If you can hit that like button, it's much appreciated and puts me in a great mood, and it helps the channel's algorithm out here. All right, so Shadow Lugia, folks. All right, did you see the collection that I did get? All right, I have a ton of shinies. What is going on here? Shiny Lugia loves me. I've been rating it pretty hard in the past, and that's why I have so many. I did get like a 96%, did you see that? And a 100 extra small regular Lugia, which I'm ecstatic for because for whatever reason, I don't know why, but I love extra small and extra large Pokemon. I think the extra small ones are even more entertaining for me to look at because they're just tiny Pokemon, right? Alright, anyways, what do we got going on? Groudon up against Dragonite. We'll get into the full commentary right about now after I yapped your ear off with all that stuff here. Bringing in their own Groudon, and I'm going to go ahead and swap into my Lugia and start doing some damage here. Going for the Aeroblast because I started getting a little bit nervous. Or Sky Attack. Could have went for the Aeroblast, but I'd go for the Sky Attack. But I feel like this is a comfortable situation anyway, so we're going to be okay. They're going to be forced to throw again because they're not going to be able to just simply take me out, but it looks like I'm actually going to shield it up. So I could have went for an Aeroblast, so we're going to go for a double Sky Attack. Whatever, sounds good to me. Taking out the Groudon, and we take the win with our Lugia. Let's get it. Next battle, leading with Lugia the entire time, net with a Dragonite, and since we do have Dragon Tail, this is going to be an amazing lead for us here. They're going to be swapping into Excadrill, and I make a systematic swap into Groudon here, and this is an amazing matchup for us. Gonna let that first drill run go. As a matter of fact, we can let the next one go as well. Seeing if we're gonna get a shield out of them. Don't think they want to because they can just bring Dragonite right back into the fight here. But this is gonna be even better so Dragonite can't get any farm from us. Instead of going for Precipice Blades, taking them out with all that health left on the Groudon, they're not gonna be able to get too much farm if they do bring that Dragonite back in, and there it is. And taking me out before I actually even get off damn charge move. Unfortunately, I was going for Precipice Blades and they farmed me down. Bringing in the Lugia, and we're just going to let it go because Lugia is a tank and it can absorb whatever you throw at it, basically. Going for a Sky Attack up against their Metagross. That was I would say a catch. Yeah, they caught it. It was a nice catch. But we do have a Giratina in the back that we're going to be able to handle this Metagross with. And what we're going to do is easily let that Meteor Mash go. Going to go for an Ominous Wind. Don't want to throw all of or hit all the bubbles because I wanted to get a little bit of extra farm, but they're backing out and we're taking that win. Next battle, we're going to be met with an Ursaluna, which is going to be able to hit us with a pretty hard Thunder Punch. This is a very interesting Pokemon. Don't think I actually completely powered up mine for Open Master League. I may have. I have to double check that, but I do have a 100 that I could power up. Building up to the Aeroblast and going for the Sky Attack. Let's see what's going to happen here. They're going to be shielding it up. Sounds good. We could let one more Thunder Punch go, but it is going to be doing a decent amount, so we're going to go ahead and shield that up while their Quick Attack is actually doing a ridiculous amount of damage. Freaking kidding me? Oh, it's getting stabbed. That's why, right? So we're going to be winning that matchup with a decent amount of health. looking good. And coming out of this with energy, they're bringing in a Gyarados. We're going to go for a Sky Attack here. I think we're going to let them just farm us down so we're not locked. And then we're going to be bringing in our Giratina because it's just a better matchup because of our Shadow Claw. Aqua Tail and Crunch are super effective, but we can absorb that. They are shieldless. We don't really need to worry about it. Winning the CMP up against that Gyarados here, going for the Shadow Ball. This should be enough to take them out. Down they go. What you got in the back of Metagross? Immediately swapping into our Groudon, and that is a wrap, getting to the Precipice Blades, but we're not even going to need to shield this up here. And Precipice Blades is freaking OP. I'm going to take out a Giratina Altered with 2 of them. I mean, it's like, yeah, well, it's like, you know, it's almost as strong as this Earthquake, pretty much, so. But the spam ability is crazy. Next battle, met with a Giratina, and this is good, and it's kind of bad because they're going to hit us with Shadow Ball, which is super effective. Their Shadow Claw is super effective. Shielding up Shadow Ball correctly, nice. And they're going to be swapping into their Melmetal, and now this is great. Go up against them with our Groudon here because we can essentially just shut them down. Now, we are down a shield, but that's okay. We're going to be able to come out of this with energy here, and they're going to keep on spamming that superpower. And if I remember this correctly, they actually double shield this Melmetal here. Oh, yep, okay, yeah, this is the one. All right, sounds good. So they debuff themselves by 2 stages. We're going to let this go because it's still not enough to KO, and their quick move's doing pretty much no damage. It's almost recovering us at this point. Going for another Fire Punch, and they're shielding it up and retreating into their Giratina, so we're going to go ahead and go for a Precipice Blades. They wanted to preserve that Melmetal for later. We're doing so much damage, swapping into Lugia, sniping them. They're bringing back the Melmetal. We're getting to Aeroblast, and if you're wondering, do you need Aeroblast? Yes, you do. You don't need it, but you want it. If you're going to be investing in a Lugia, personally, let me tell you from using it a whole ton, you don't worry about having coverage like Future Sight or Hydro Pump. Who cares? Go with Aeroblast. That's just the way you want to go, okay? So double flying and then Dragon Tail. You could go extra sensory, but I don't recommend it. Go Dragon Tail. All right, up against this Togekiss, we're going to be able to take the win with our Giratina, taking super effective from the Charm, but we're still able to take them out with our neutral Shadow Ball. Next battle, met with a Dialga, and this is another one of those matchups that Lugia can kind of handle. That Dragon Tail is doing a ton of damage, and with Lugia's attack not being the best around, but with that extra bit of shadow damage, you're just doing that much more. Our opponent hitting me with a damn Draco Meteor and then swapping into a Zekrom as I do bring in my Groudon, and I almost top lefted because this is seeming to be a hopeless battle, but I take out their Zekrom. They're still locked, so I immediately bring in my Giratina, and I'm thinking, hold on. They just took me out with a freaking Draco Meteor. I had all that energy on my Lugia, and I almost top lefted, but this is looking like I could potentially pull this off here, so long as I kind of, I'm careful with my shield. So I do shield this up because it could have been a blizzard and we need this to stay alive. So we're going to let the next one go. We're just going to I think we let the next one go. We're just calling it, right? Just had a feeling like, okay, all right, let's just let it go. And it is another Surf. They swap. We bring in our Groudon here. We're going to be able to get to the Precipice Blaze before they get to a charge move. Now, they are going to be able to farm us up with their Kyogre here, which, yeah, whatever. Doesn't really matter. We're going to be at, oh, they're throwing. There you go. Fire Punch wouldn't have been enough to KO, but it would have been like 2 more Shadow Claws. They're throwing, bringing in our Dialga, our Giratina, and please tell me I haven't been calling it Dialga. I'm pretty sure I've been calling it Giratina. But we're taking the win with that ominous win. Next battle, Lugia up against Togekiss, resisted with the Dragon Tail. But again, Lugia is such a massive tank that look at the Charm. It is chunking away, but we are absorbing it like a champion. Building up to the Aeroblast and going for the Sky Attack. Show me that shield. Fantastic. Getting a shield out of them. This is perfect here. We do have the Giratina in the back that can go up against Togekiss, but not necessarily wanting to. Now, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to get to the Aeroblast because we let the Ancient Power go, but we're getting 2 shields out of them, which is perfect. So this is not a really good position to be in, to be honest. So we're going to have to bring in the Giratina, taking super effective from the Charm. We can let these charge moves go because they're not going to really threaten us too much, as opposed to bringing in the Groudon and not very effective quick move, Thunder, or Fire Punch. It's just better to go with the Giratina Shadow Ball. And they have a Garchomp back there. Okay, so it has Dragon Tail, so I'm assuming they're going to go for Sand Tomb, lower my stats, specifically my defense, and we're just going to let that go, and we're calling it correctly. Now, they're shieldless. What did they just throw into the battle here? Like, oh, there's that Giratina I was talking about, so let's take a look. So there's 1 Precipice Blades. We need to get to 1 more, and they're pretty much KO'd. And we are 1 defense stage down, so we do have lower defense at this point. I'm looking at that switch clock. I'm just waiting. I'm like, come on, getting to the Precipice Blades, which is going to do massive damage to that Garchomp immediately swapping into our Giratina here. And then I'm thinking I need to shield this up. This is going to be a Sand Tomb. The next one probably will KO. Not enough to get to another one, and we're taking them out with our Giratina. Let's get it. Next battle met with a Zacian, and they started to really throw these damn Zacians at me, and it started to get very annoying. On the plus side, if they do have Wild Charge, we're going to be able to go up against them with our Giratina and kind of essentially wall them, because more than likely they've got close combat, and that's exactly what they have. Now I do swap into our Groudon here to kind of just absorb this. Yeah, I should have went Giratina. I really should have, but I was expecting them to bring in a Steel type, but they're bringing in a Kyogre and catching a Fire Punch. So at this point, I'm looking pretty bad. Sure, I was able to catch that Wild Charge, which is pretty nice, but I wasted a lot of energy that we could have. Look at that. Pretty much one-shotting a Kyogre with Precipice Blade. I mean, that is some crazy. Is that even a powered-up Kyogre? Alright, yeah, it is. I mean, Precipice Blades is just disgusting. Bringing in Lugia and farming them down, immediately going for the Sky Attack. Looks like they're bringing in a Dragonite. Great. Now, we do have Giratina, and this is still a somewhat good situation. We just need to get both shields. We still have two ourselves here. Swapping into it immediately so they can't get any more farm that they already have. Shielding this up because we just need to shield all these up. We don't need to worry about that other Pokemon. And they're going to be catching with their Zacian. Very nice. We're just going to go for that Shadow Ball. Not enough to take them out. So we can let this go because we know what? Wild Charge, close combat, but it is adding up. So they are able to get one off. But are we able to get to the Shadow Ball? We are. Is this going to be enough to KO the Dragonite? Come on, Giratina, take them out, and we take the win. Let's get it. Let's keep it moving. If you haven't hit that like button, make sure you do. Met with another damn Togekiss, so let's go ahead and figure this situation out here. Kind of annoying because of the Dragon Tail doing such a little amount of damage here, so we're kind of stuck having to obviously hit our charge moves and really putting in the work that way. Letting the Ancient Power go yet again while building up to two of these Sky Attacks, hoping to get a couple of shields or at least one. Letting the first one go, but still doing a ton of damage. Would assume they're going to let this go so they can win that swap, and that's exactly what they do, and they're going to be able to farm me down. Now they are down a shield. Hopefully they have some steel in the back that I'm going to be able to handle with my Groudon later down the line here. Bringing in yet again Giratina to unfortunately absorb all of these charm moves and going for the ominous win because we don't need to be going for no Shadow Ball right now. Taking out the Togekiss, down a shield, they're bringing in a Garchomp yet again. We got the same kind of team comp going on here. Just a coincidence that we run into the same teams back to back to back to back. It's just a damn coincidence, right? All right, so you gotta love the mental illness nowadays. It's crazy with these people. All right, so we are going to shield this up. We're looking pretty good here. Going for a Sand Tomb. We're in a really kind of weird position. We're farming them down. Let's go. Garchomp or Groudon holding on barely. Going for a Fire Punch. Don't know why I did that. I really don't. That was so stupid because we were going down anyways. I'm not building up to another charge move later. Okay, so we're baiting them, folks. Can we outpace them? Can we? All right, they go ominous win. Okay, come on, get to the Shadow Ball, and we do, and we're able to take the win, even though we screwed up by going for Fire Punch and not Precipice Blades. Taking that win, let's go. That was a close one there. Let's keep it moving. What are we gonna see? A Reshiram. Oh, this is beautiful. Dragon Tail, super effective. While that Fire thing is really not doing much. Fusion Flare. Let's see. It's just gonna tickle us a little. It's like a crunch amount of damage. Oh yeah, a little bit more. It's doing a decent amount, but nothing to worry about because it takes forever to farm back up to. They're going to be retreating and bringing in their Dialga. I immediately swap into my Groudon here and going for the Precipice Blades immediately. This is going to be an Iron Head, but I am going to be shielding it up so they can't kind of start double shielding and then outpace me and then win the swap again, and we're going to be looking bad. They immediately let it go, which is great. I don't think they're going to be bringing back Reshiram. If they do, that's fine. And Landorus. Okay, well, that's perfect. That's perfect. So we're going to go ahead and go with the Fire Punch and just start chipping at them away right now because Landorus can't take a hit. I'm not waiting for them to go for a superpower. As a matter of fact, they don't have it. They've got Earthquake and Stone Edge on this thing, so kind of a nice little surprise there. Going to go ahead and bring in our Lugia to kind of... yeah, I don't know. I was hoping they might have superpower and Earthquake, so they don't. Okay. They swap into the Reshiram. We do not throw. We farm them all the way down. And at this point, it's just a quick move down at this point. I do go for an ominous win to potentially try to get the boost, which is a waste. I should have just kept going for the Shadow Claw at this point because I'm not going to be throwing 3 charge moves. I'm not even going to be able to get there. So there you have it. Lugia, you better rate it before you're limited on how many remote raids you can do starting March or April 6th. Thank you for watching and take care.
sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
Hey! So you're finally here! Fantastic!